Oh, hello, everybody. The 90-day no talk experiment. Hello, Instagram. Okay, we're out here in these streets. Let me adjust Instagram slightly. There we go. Okay, we out here, y'all. Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me tonight. For those of you who have been praying for me, may I appreciate you. I really fully appreciate you so very much. Um, Last Thursday, I started feeling I started feeling bad. And I was telling y'all that I think it came from that portion in the book that I had to share because I wasn't feeling bad for any other reason. Nobody's sick in my family. Nobody's sick at school. The kids are relatively healthy, which is very good. The students at school. And so I don't know why I was feeling bad, but from last Thursday until probably about 10 o'clock noon today, I've been down, just not feeling good, not real sure what was going on. A lot of, not congestion, but what I want to say, I have asthma, so it was really tight in my chest. No fever. I had a slight sore throat, just a tiny little sliver of and that didn't even come for like 3 or 4 days. Hey, everybody. So I don't know what it is. I do know when I woke up this morning, I just was not, I didn't feel good again. I went to work yesterday and I didn't feel the best yesterday, but I was in my office. I had one class, but then I was in my office and then I didn't feel really good the rest of the day, but I didn't have students. So I came home, laid down. I think I've been laying down every day when I got home this past week, but I feel very good today. Excuse me. Now, I say that my energy is not off the chain, but I have been able to sweep some floors. I swept in here, I vacuumed some, I've dusted a little. I've been able to do just a little few things here and there. So I am thankful for all the prayers. It really has helped me. And we're jumping in. Tonight is day 41. Day 41. If you do have your Bibles, if you'll grab them, because we're going to be reading some scripture. Yeah, I feel yesterday probably was my worst day ever of the whole time because I really felt horrible last night. And then I was praying, and I had been praying, but I was praying like, Lord, you got to show me what I need. And I've been taking my albuterol, but I also have a steroid inhaler. And the Lord said, take that. And I took that last night. And I'm telling you, when I woke up this morning after I had slept a while, my chest was finally feeling like, okay, this is good. But I stayed in bed. I didn't get up and do anything probably until about 4 o'clock, 4-ish, something. I mean, I got up to, grab a little something. I had a cup of coffee, let the dogs out, but I really wasn't good. So I'm better. Praise the Lord. Thank you so much. I don't know what y'all was thinking last night. I was like, Shakima, you need to get off here before these people think Jesus ain't real. Oh, Lord, I was feeling bad last night, but I am better, healed in Jesus' name. All right. The 90-day no talk experiment. We're jumping in. This is day 41. And this is called My Desire, Wife of Noble Character. Now, again, I wanted to preface this with you all because when I share my stories, again, these are my thoughts, my musings, but I'm prayerful that something I share with you, you will be able to glean. So tonight's lesson is really for wives or women who desire marriage. Okay. This is for the wives. If you're already married, if God has blessed you to be married, and I understand that sometimes, you could have been married for a very long time and you have fallen out of love. People say that fall out of love. I guess it's a thing. But when we think about marriage, why did we get married? And then what do you do in that role of husband or wife, depending on which one you happen to be. So day 41 is where we're going. We're on page 141 if you have bought the book. And thank you so much to those of you who have purchased my book. I appreciate that. There have been a couple of sales since we started the study. You can find this on Amazon. So please, please, please do go and jump over there and grab it. Perfection. Okay. Every little girl dreams of the same thing, right? To be a wife and a mother. Okay, let's not generalize. I was reading something today on Facebook, and I just kept thinking, well, how did you come up with that? Where it didn't make sense to me. So I don't want to generalize or lump anybody or everybody into my dream. More than a dream about being a wife and a mother, I was raised to be a wife. Now, let me qualify that. I grew up with my grandparents. Remember, my parents were teenage parents. They had me when they were 17. They did not raise me, my mom, until I was 5, but my grandparents were still there. And then from 5 to 10, my grandparents had moved back down south. And then I came to live with my grandparents when I was 10. So really, in all total, my mom probably had me for about 5 years by herself without my grandparents. With that being said, when I went to live with my grandparents, because they were old school, they were old Southern. My grandmother was born in 1926. My grandfather was born in 1932. You know, they were born at a time and a place where girls got married and had children. That is what they did. There was nothing else outside of that. And because my grandparents were poor, you know, there were no prospects outside of working the farm for them. And so when I went to live with them, we learned all the things. We had a small little farm. My grandparents had pigs, we had chickens, we had ducks, we had dogs. You know, we had whatever we had. My grandparents did a veggie garden. But they worked in the fields. That's just what they did. They did it every single day. You know, they were out there in tobacco or soybeans or whatever the case was. That's just how it was. And so when I came there, my grandmother, it was in the kitchen. You know, when we started YouTube and all social medias, y'all saw me in my kitchen. Well, that's because when I went to live with my grandparents, I was always in the kitchen with my grandmother. Or we had what was considered an open concept. The kitchen was here, the living room was here. So you always saw her in the kitchen. That was her place. That was what she was supposed to do. Even though she did go out and work, she worked the yards with my grandfather and they did all the things. My grandfather never cooked a meal. Never. I probably was a full-grown adult woman before I ever seen him do anything in the kitchen. And I think he made some potato salad, maybe. Egg salad, maybe. I mean, don't get it wrong, because I don't remember what it was. All I know is he'd never been in the kitchen before. My grandmother took that role as homemaker, the person who did all of the in-house stuff, very seriously. He never washed clothes. He never hung clothes. He never folded clothes, but he would go outside and he would do outside things. So I was raised that way. You know, I had to learn how to cook. I know how to sew buttons and darn socks. I don't actually sew on a sewing machine because my grandmother never had a sewing machine, but I'm sure if she did, I would. My other grandmother, my dad's mom, saw me canning jellies last year, jams and jellies. And she told somebody, she said, she must have learned that from Miss Katie because I didn't do none of that. So, you know, I had to learn how to can and learn how to stretch your dollars and learn how to garden and do all those types of things because I was destined to be a wife of somebody. And I was destined to be a wife of the little farmer boy who lived across the street. And we were just going to live on the farm forever. And that's how we're going to work for somebody else. And we were going to work ourselves into an early grave for somebody else. And it's like, wow, you know, okay. So you have to understand, my grandparents never had the opportunity to pursue education. It wasn't a thing. My grandmother only went to third grade. My grandfather went to first grade. He could write his name and he could do math. That was it. He could write his name and do math, but they couldn't. Both of them could not read very well. We you know how sometimes you have people who don't have English as their first language have their children come and interpret for them. That's how it was for us growing up. My grandparents couldn't read any mail that they got. We had to read the mail and tell them what it meant. But they worked hard. They were hard workers. They did their very best. But they worked with their hands. They worked the field. They worked the yard. My grandmother would wring a chicken's neck or chop its head off, whichever one, right? That's what she would do. That's just how we grew up and how we were raised. So whatever education I have past graduation or even past third grade was not by their encouragement. It wasn't like they were like pushing me to go and pursue higher education. It just wasn't something that was a thing for them. But then, you know, for anything that I receive beyond 12th grade is by God's grace. I have a firm belief that it is by God's grace. I was at a school and there was a teacher there. Her name is Delma Bond, and she was very much in my life as far as helping me to pursue something beyond where I was, like giving me the bird's eye view into something else than being the farmer's wife, if that makes any sense. If you go to Proverbs 31, and we are going to read a little bit of Bible tonight, just because I want to share this again. There's a reason that I want to be a wife of noble character, not for the reason that most people think. Okay, so I'm going to go to Proverbs 31, and I'm going to start reading in chapter 10, and we're going to do 10 through 31. So Proverbs 31, 10 through 31, and I'm going to read all of that. And I have like little notes and stuff. Okay. Who can find a wife of strong character? So in my book, it says noble character, but this is God's word translation, which makes it a little bit easier to read and understand. Who can find a wife with a strong character? She is worth far more than rubies. Her husband trusts her with all his heart, and he does not lack anything good. She helps him and never harms him all the days of his life. Now, we can all learn some stuff from that, because I watch a lot of social media, is what I'm trying to say. And in those social media things, I see a lot of wives disrespecting their husbands, or demeaning their husbands, or emasculating their men. And it's very hurtful to me, a person who desires marriage and has not found the coupled, the partner to me yet. And you have all of these women who do have husbands that mistreat their husbands. And I'm not saying that husbands don't do the same thing, but I'm always looking at what the wife is doing versus the husband, right? Because I am a wife. Yeah, it's just that's how my grandfather was. But he was a very good provider of the home. He just didn't do anything inside of it. She seeks out wool and linen with care and works with willing hands. She is like merchant ships. She brings her food from far away. She wakes up while it is still dark. She's an early riser and gives food to her family and portions of food to her female slaves. She provides food for her family and for other people. This is what wives of strong, noble character do, right? So go back and think about it. Now, you will hear a lot of people who teach this passage of scripture say that one woman cannot be all of these things, that this is really talking about the church. And I get it. I absolutely understand that the corporate, and when Jesus says he's coming back for the bride, he is talking about coming back for the church. So yes, this is a corporate thing for the church. But I also believe that me as a woman can strive to do a lot of these things. Maybe not 100% perfection, but her husband trusts her with all his heart and he doesn't lack any good thing. Why is it that when God would give me a husband that he couldn't trust me with his heart, right? I could keep him safe, right? I could cover him and not expose all of his darkest and deep secrets to my friends just for clout or just to have talking points or when he get on my nerve, right? So I think that this is fully doable for a person, but I think far too often we have taken ourselves off the hook and made this about the church only so that we don't have to pull ourselves up or ask the Lord to help us be this type of individual or have this type of character. Okay. She picks out a field and buys it. She plants a vineyard from the profit she has earned, right? So she goes out and she's a businesswoman. She's an entrepreneur. She's getting her bag. There's a whole lot of women out here trying to get their bag. I'm here for it. But what is the bag for? These are questions we are asking ourselves. She puts on strength like a belt and goes to work with energy. She sees that she is making a good profit. Her lamp burns late at night. So this is what a lot of people get on me about. Shakima, you don't get enough rest. You're always working. You're always doing stuff. That's very true. But I have to qualify that. Because when my ex-husband left our family, somebody had to do the work, right? Remember the first couple of years that we were divorced, he was not paying child support. He was not. I had determined I was not putting another Black man in the system. I wasn't going to do it. But he wasn't doing his part. And so after a while of me doing all I knew how to do and struggling to do it, I got some very good counsel from a very wise person that said, go get them kids their money. Now stop playing. This ain't about you. This is about the kids because they need to eat and they got to have gas for you to take them back and forward to Taekwondo and all this other stuff. So that was the only reason I tried to give him the opportunity. He did not take it. So it was fine. So then we had to go to a different direction. But even though he did that, I was still working, trying to pay the debt that he left me with. He left it all for me. Moved out of state. And whoever's here, they stuck with the debt. So I had it. So I'm up late at night working. I'm up early in the morning working my regular job, my real job, my day job that pays the bills. I'm up late at night trying to do social media stuff. And I'm trying to grow this business. I'm trying to grow this this following. I'm trying to do this social media thing. But I'm seeing good profits, not just financial, right? Because when I look at my finances, I'm like, Lord, I do not understand how some people are, they just quitting jobs and stuff. I don't make nearly the amount of money to quit no job, not to pay. What I make in social media cannot pay my mortgage, not even half of my mortgage. It just can't. So I'm missing it somewhere, but I am growing a following, and I'm growing a following of people who are looking for sound examples on how to live this life with the challenges that it presents all of us. So I do believe that me working has been beneficial to the people who are watching me work. Okay. She puts her hands on the distaff and her fingers hold a spindle. She opens her hands to the oppressed people and stretches them out to needy people. What she has in her hand, she's willing to share with other folks. She's not all about give me, give me, give me. Let me just get my hands on all of it. She says, okay, hey, I have this. So why don't I just share it with everybody that I'm able to share it with? Now, again, you have to remember that she holds her husband's heart. So she's not, and he doesn't lack any good things. So she's just not going to throw it all to the wind. She is going to be very strategic in who she helps and when she helps. And she's going to seek counsel of the Lord. God, tell me who, what, when, where, and why, so that I'm able to do my part, even still while being in this covenant relationship. She does not fear for her family when it snows, but her whole family has a double layer of clothing. She makes quilts for herself. Her clothes are made of linen and pure and purple cloth. Her husband is known at the city gates when he sits with the leaders of the land. She makes linen garments and sells them and delivers belts to the merchants. She dresses with strength and nobility, and she smiles at the future. She's very hopeful. She is what you call a class act, a classy lady. She's dressed, yes, with garments, but still she's dressed with strength and nobility. She knows how to be with the haves and the have-nots. She knows how to come, how to be in this environment, but also in this environment. She doesn't walk around with her nose in the air acting like she don't know where she came from. I came from the farm. I know exactly where I came from, but I can go into the boardroom and be just as beneficial to those people as I can when I put on my farm boots and go out there and do what I'm doing in the yard. So I can do multiple things at a time. I'm the same individual, but based on where I am or what situation I'm in, I know how to move in those situations. She speaks with wisdom, and on her tongue there is tender instruction. She keeps a close eye on the conduct of her family, and she does not eat from the bread of idleness. I'm always make sure my children are doing what they need to do, that their manners are on point. When my son forgets himself, I'm always there to remind him, not embarrass, but remind. Because even at 14, and he'll be 15 on Tuesday, he still needs reminders. Even my older children, I'm asking them, or I'm saying, I'm talking to them about, hey, how are things going? What you doing? What's the money looking like? How's your household? I'm always inquiring as to how things are, because even though they're grown and out of the house, I still need to keep a handle on, what's going on in my family. This is my family. I'm now the matriarch. My mother has passed. I don't have any siblings. I'm my mother's only child. So I now am the matriarch of my mother's set of children, where you have her brother and sisters. Now I step into her place whenever somebody needs to make decisions for the family, for her section of the family. I'm here. We have one aunt that does not have any living children. So when she passes, her whole line will be done. She doesn't have any children at all. Her children and her husband stand up and bless her. In addition, he sings her praises by saying, many women have done noble work, but you have surpassed them all. Charm is deceptive and beauty evaporates, but a woman who has the fear of the Lord should be praised. Reward her for what she has done, and let her achievements praise her at the city gates. So when you think about it, those of you who are married or who desire marriage, which of those parts of a wife of noble character are you? Where do you check off this box? Okay, I do this, this, and this. And where is it that you say, hey, I could use a little bit more work in this area? See, 15 years of being separated and divorced has not been just for me to sit around and woe is me and oh my God, what I don't have. It's been for me to go back and study these verses, not because of the verses for the verses' sake, but because I desire to be a wife, which is a married woman considered in relation to her spouse. I desire to couple my life together in a covenant relationship, which means an agreement or agreed upon by lease, deed, or legal contract. I wish to have my life intertwined, be locked in with a spouse. And so because that is the truth, then what I do is I go and I look at these verses 10 through 31 of Proverbs 31, and I say, okay, Shakima, where are you in this list? See, I don't have to have anybody tell me what I don't have as a wife, because Proverbs 31, 10 through 31 tells me what I should be as a wife. And I don't beat myself up for the parts that I'm missing. I wasn't always an entrepreneur. I didn't always have a side hustle. I didn't always have a side business. But somewhere along the lines, we started doing social media, and I started social media 100% as a ministry. And I had a very good friend of mine. Her name is Ray. Ray said to me, I said, Ray, I can't look at it like it's a business. And she said, but Shakima, it is. You're getting paid to do what you do. So if you're getting paid to do what you do, then you have to start looking at it from the business aspect, and you have to treat it as such. There is an arm of this that is all ministry. It's all ministry, but there is an arm part that is ministry for sure, that I never expect anybody to pay me anything to do. However, for the parts that I'm trying to do as far as my business, then yes, I should get paid for the work I do. Praise the Lord. I'm very happy to hear that. And God is in your situation and your circumstances, not anything that we go through that God does not already know. He knows the outcome. It's just hard for us sometimes to see what it is. So I just pray that you would be patient in the waiting, that you would allow the Lord to do the work that he needs to do in your life, and just wait to see the full manifestation of his glory over that situation, because God is there for sure. So it's like, Proverbs 31 in the Bible, at the top of that, it says wife of noble character. In 2022, that was back then. And even in 2024, some women are not even trying to be wives. We have this whole narrative going on now, especially in social media, that's saying, hey, why get married? Just sleep with who you want to sleep with if you need to get your rocks off. And just, hey, I don't need to be married. I can make my own money. I don't need no covering. I don't need nobody telling me what to do. I go when I feel like it, come when I feel like it. Hey, I don't need to be married. And I'm thinking, okay, wow, that's good. They are very satisfied with their single lives while chasing their own dreams. And that's very good. Whatever you choose for you is what you choose, period. Do not allow anybody to talk you out of your choice. It's yours to make. However, I can't wait to become a wife, and not for the reasons that most people think about. Yes, I admit it. I want to make love again. I want to have a very robust, intimate life. I do. I pray about that. I'm like, Lord, please don't send nobody over here that is not physically fit enough to do the things, because things will be getting done. However, that's not the end all be all of why I want to be married. The main reason is because I'm committed to the concept of family. Now, this takes it all the way back, right? So those of us who are wives and we don't love our husbands, or he on our nerves, or whatever the case is, or husbands who feel the same way about your wife, you better think about why you got married. And if it was just for the robustness of the physical intimacy, then you got married for the wrong reason. I know Paul said it's better to marry than to burn, but you better believe that people are living longer and longer, and you're going to be stuck with this person for the rest of your life. So is it that we can be yoked to the same assignment and move in the same direction? Because if not, then I can't marry you. The concept of family was created in Genesis, way back in Genesis, and it was God's idea. Family is his idea. And with family, that means the husband and wife and their children. That's what the family is. And so my desire for being a wife is because I believe in the concept of family. Well, people will say, well, Shakima, your kids are grown and they moved out the house. They don't need a dad. Every child needs a parent. Every child needs a mom and a dad to pour into them all of the things that, they need to help them live, to grow, and to be. And so my desire is for that. And it's not just for my family. If you go back and you read, it's like what she has in her hands is not just for her. Let me just get this for my family, which a lot of people are very inward focused. It is all about my family, my husband, my kids, my house, my stuff, mine, period. We never stretch beyond ourselves. But if you read in Titus chapter 2, 3 through 5, it says, and likewise, the older women shall teach the younger women how to be good women, good wives, and good mothers. That's my loose paraphrase. Go read it. So those of us who have accepted the concept of family, we have accepted the role of wife, if that's the role we're playing, or the role of husband, if that's the role we're playing. It is not just for me, it's for me to then in turn teach my daughters and my sons how to be each other's, how to be whatever respective role they're playing. But what about those of us who don't have children? So then it's for you to find somebody who needs a mentor. It's for you to find somebody who might be a little bit off the path, and the Lord is leading you to be in their lives and say, hey, girl, you want to come over? See, a lot of us want to come over and just give all these lessons. You got to have relationship before you can ever give a lesson. You want to come over and have some coffee and some dessert. Hey, I'm just having a few ladies over tonight. And then while you're in your kitchen, they see you. This is how y'all listen to me now. Lean in. You got to lean in. Okay. Because I'm putting y'all on game. These women on TikTok who don't clean their houses, a lot of them didn't have parents that cleaned, or maybe their moms worked, right? Or whatever the case is. Because, honey, everybody out here working in these streets these days, because we got to make them ends meet and all that. So here's the thing, though. You invite some people over to your home. You invite a plethora of people, an older lady, you really trying to mentor this 20-something-year-old. So invite her, but you don't want it to be just her, because you don't want her to be uncomfortable. So you have a little ladies thing where you invite her into your space, and she sees your space nice and tidy. It smells good when she walks in. You've got the little bouquet garni, or, you've got the little potpourri pot going in the background. You have cleaned. If you have animals, you have cleaned, and there's no fur on the couches. If you have children, their toys aren't all over the house. And then you serve up the coffee and the dessert, right? You have multiple options. What you're doing is, yes, you're inviting people into your home, and you're having this fellowship time, but you're also teaching little lessons without having to teach little lessons. When she excuses herself to go to your bathroom because she's starting her cycle, and she sees, oh my God, I don't have anything in my purse because I wasn't expecting this. But on the back of your toilet, you have your little hospitality basket with a nice little sign that says, hey, if you need something, take something. And you also have, the little disposable underoos, because maybe she's had an accident, and you have all the things that she needs right there. She's now taking that information back home with her. And maybe she doesn't get it the first time, but you just keep inviting. You keep inviting over, because they're learning these lessons. So all of us have a role to play in the lives of other people. It's not just for me. Let me get this for me. When I started the YouTube channel, YouTube journey, the Lord said, Shakima, I want you to invite people into your kitchen, because that's where we spent the majority of our time. Because in 2014, which is 10 years ago, Jackson was 5 and Alana was 10. We spent all of our time in the kitchen. I was cooking all the meals. Jackson was not chefing. He was not a la Jacksoning back then. It was mom. I was doing all the things. So it was like, God, I can't do one more thing. He says, I'm not asking you to really do one more thing. I'm just asking you to invite those people into a space you're already going to be in. And it was like, oh, okay, perfection. So it wasn't one more thing that God wanted me to do. It was, let me just invite people into what I was already doing, what I already had going on. So when you think about it, are you connected to the concept of the family? Are you connected to the covenant of marriage? Because not everybody is. And if you're not, don't pursue it. Because this says in sickness and health and good and bad and rich and poor and all that. There's another little gentleman, I can't remember his name, but they're a African-American couple. His wife had a stroke, and that man is right there by his wife's side. I mean, he never leaves that woman's side. He takes her to her hair appointments. I mean, he's talking about, baby, I love you. Who love you, baby? I mean, he ministers to that woman, and you can tell her speech is still not fully back. Her mind is there for sure. But he just keeps talking to her and just encouraging her. This man meant this thing for real. Nobody knew she was going to have a stroke to this magnitude. But I'm telling you that this man is there. So if you can't agree to all that I just said, then you don't need to do it. Especially those of us who are older now, and we're going to marry somebody who probably is around our age or older. If their parents are still living now, you're looking at potentially having to do caregiving for parents, for older parents. You better be sure that you're committed to what comes with this covenant. Now, yeah, he looked good and his shoe size is a size 13, and you looking forward to all of that, but it is more than that. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Terrence Hawthorne. I love him. He is always with his, I don't care what it is. He is encouraging that woman, baby. You know what? You got it. Come on, baby. Say what you want to say. You got it. He's encouraging her. And every time I hear her, she's learning more and more words, more and more her words coming out. More and more of her words are coming out. And I'm like, wow, That's the loving hand of a husband who agreed to all of that. He agreed to sickness, health, good and bad, rich and poor, and everything. He does probably 99% of her caregiving. He's doing all the things that she needs, from bathing to diaper changing and all the stuff. You better make sure you mean it before you jump in this thing. Families are under great attack as of late, but family was God's plan, and it always is his plan. He's coming back for a bride that is ready, that she's raised her kids. She's done all the things without spot, without wrinkle. Are you wrinkly? Honey, they got a cream for that. Is your attitude wrinkles? Honey, they got creams for that. Like, we can all be well. But this is the wife I want to be, a capable wife, an intelligent wife, a trustworthy wife. Why should my husband have to text me and message me where you at and who you with? Babe, you already know where I'm at, who I'm with. Thank God for FaceTime, because all you got to do is put on your FaceTime. This is where I'm at and this is who I'm with. But my husband is not going to question me, because I'm not giving him a reason to have to question where I'm at and who I'm with. Not at this late stage of the game. I'm not hanging out. Listen, 9 o'clock is my number. I'm trying to be in the bed, really. Honestly. I want to be a wife that has her husband's confidence. Before he goes and tells anybody else anything, he coming to me, because I'm his best friend. I'm his best friend. I have his ear. I want to be a wife that is a comfort to her family. A wife that works hard to provide for her family while working my gifts and my talents. I don't have to exchange being a mom for working my business. God has blessed me to the point where my children are now all adults, except my 15-year-old will be 15 on Tuesday. Now I can work. I have time to do all this stuff now. I did a little bit before, but now I got time. Yes, ma'am. That's exactly who I'm talking about. I love every time I see one of their videos, I'm like, come on through Jesus. Like, where is this level of commitment at? For real. Vows do mean something. You better make sure that you're reading it. All I'm telling you is you better make sure that you agree to all of these things. Well, I work and he work. He should do half of the housework. Maybe. I get it. I understand there are moments when you're tired. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work my business, because he might be tired too. And then what I'm going to have is a little extra change on the side to say, baby, listen, I got us a cleaner once a month. Somebody coming at least to do the deep stuff. We're going to do the everyday picking it up. But I know you don't want to do it, and I sure don't want to do it. So I'm going to work a little side job. And what I'm going to do is we're going to hire somebody, or we hire somebody every other month, or whatever the case is. But we're all on the same playing field. And if she can't come in, I know how to do it. Right? Sometimes it's very difficult to learn. The comment was, her mother didn't teach her about cleanliness. And then, her husband tried to teach her, but it put a rift in their relationship. So again, if you've made it to this point, if you've made it to the point where you do things, you need to find somebody to take underneath your wing. But you got to be careful how you approach people. Girl, come here. Let me show you how to clean, because your house is nasty. Wrong. But again, invite people in. And I promise you, every time, this is not just one time. This is every time people come into my house, people are looking around. They're like, oh, girl, when you get this? Or, oh, girl, I like that. What's that smell? Oh, girl. They asking questions, because I'm always trying. See, my house is not clean just for cleanliness sake. I appreciate cleanliness. But someone asked me, if you could have any kind of house, what kind would you have? And I said, the kind where people would feel welcome. This is for people to come in and feel welcome. Hey, stop. Move. Got Brenda and Barbara over here acting out. What in the world? I want to be a wife that gets up early and provide food for my family and those who work for this family. There's a girl I watch on YouTube, and every time she has workers out at her house, she always finds something in the house that she can make for them. She'll bake them up a batch of cookies for their lunch break, or she'll do some hand pies, or just a little something. She'll, if it's hot and they're working in the heat, she'll not make up a nice batch of lemonade. Like the one plant that I'm planting this year is mint, and I want to plant mint because I want to make some spearmint lemonade. I want people to come over, and if we're sitting out in the heat, at least they can have a nice a cool lemonade spearmint drink, just a refresher, something. Right? You got to teach people. Can I be honest? My grandparents taught me how to clean and how to work, but they didn't teach me hospitality. Becky over at Acre Homestead. Yep. They didn't teach me how to do hospitality per se, but my grandmother always had something on the stove. So if anybody ever came over, you had at least a meal. You could eat something. My grandmother was famous for her biscuits, and everybody would just want a biscuit. Miss Katie, you got any of them biscuits? And then she would make a fig preserve, and people would just put them figs on top of them biscuits. My grandmother, she didn't know it was called hospitality, but she knew how to entertain and bring people in. And when we were small, we would just stand in the kitchen by her little elbow, and we would just learn stuff. And then every now and then she would have us do a little something, and we would pick up those skills. I want to be a wife that is a support for in his spiritual journey. As he's getting closer to the Lord. I don't want to be a deterrent from that. I want to be in this. I want to be in this journey with you. Let's pray together. Let's read the word together. You pray over me. I pray over you. Let's do all that. I want to be a wife that has great business sense, helping to make sound financial decisions. Hey, what money we spending right now? Is that a good, I don't know if we need to do it quite this week. Maybe next week is a better week, whatever that is. But I want to have enough business sense, enough stewardship management over what God puts in my hands to be able to say to my husband, hey, I don't think we should do that just yet. Or like I said before, if my husband desires for me not to work and we have debt, if he has debt, because I don't have any, if he has debt, I would like to say to him, babe, I understand that you want me to be home, and I would love to be home. But I do also understand that we still have X amount of Z dollars worth of debt. And when I say we, it's because I take everything that he brings. If you would allow me to work for X amount of time so that I could focus my income on paying off this debt while you do the household stuff, however we work that out between the two of us, then I need to be able to bring him that argument, or bring him that viewpoint that says, yes, I would love to stay home, but I'm able-bodied. I can do physical work. I can work from home. Hey, babe, listen, how about I work from home? I know you don't want me out there doing all the stuff, but I have my social media business. What about if I take the earnings from social media and we put it towards whatever it is that we're trying to possess together or pay off together? And he has to understand that I am financially sound and savvy enough to protect his investments, to protect the money that he brings in. I want to be a wife that's strong physically and spiritually, and giving my family long life. Hey, get your body together, Shakima. I want to be able to have a strong physical body. For one, I want to be robust in my physicalness with my husband. That's one thing for sure. 100. But I also want to have good physical health, because my children will be soon having children, and I want to see my grandchildren grow up. My potential spouse may have grandchildren. I want to be able to see those children grow up. I still got some pretty good years left. I'm only 48 years old. I've got some good years left. I want to be a wife that is generous to her neighbors and to those that are less fortunate. Today, my kids and I were out on the front porch. We were adding a little bit of curb appeal to our yard, but still, we had a company send us some mini planters, and we have put a community garden out in our front garden bed, flower bed. And so we planted some tomatoes, and now we have 4 little mini planters that we're now going to turn those into our herb gardens. And I posted in the chat today, hey, this is what the kids and I are doing. Whenever you see something growing and you have a need, just come by and pluck a little something off. And I hope that they do. And whatever we have overflow in the garden in the back, I'll put a little cooler out on the front, and then people can come and take what they need. Because we have enough, now we're able to give to those who don't. And it's like, well, Shakima, they got what they need. You never know what's going on behind somebody's closed door if they never invite you into their house. Everybody thought when I was married, my husband and I were the perfect family. We were the perfect show family, but we went in the house, we were perfectly dysfunctional. Perfectly. So we don't know what's happening in these post-pandemic streets out here where people are struggling, trying to make their ends meet. So why not put a little extra out? If you have a green thumb, put a little garden together. When I go to Lowe's Home Improvement, I'm always looking for the container that has multiple offshoots in one. If I'm gonna pay $6 for one tomato plant, I'm at least get 2 or 3 of them, because then I can split it and I can then plant it. And 3 tomato plants can give me enough to can for my family, plus enough to share with other families. And I have always had a desire to be that, Lisa, to be a military officer's wife, because I know that I would fit perfectly into that. I'll fit anywhere. But I love the fact of those women having to be leaders in their communities and doing those types of things for their husbands, or because of the role or position that their husband have. I want to be a wife that's classy. I desire to make my husband the talk of the town, but not through my trashy behavior, but because of my grace and my quiet spirit and my dignity, right? People are going to talk about you. They're going to talk about you good or bad. You better determine which one it's going to be. If you have a haughty attitude, if you're arrogant, if you don't like people, if you keep your nose up in the air like you too good to be around normal folks and regular people, like you ain't never been to a backyard barbecue in your life, they're going to talk about you. They are. But here's the thing. Honey, I can wear flip-flops. I can take my shoes off. I can walk around. I'm from the country. We didn't have shoes. We didn't walk around with shoes. We had shoes, but we didn't wear our good shoes outside. You can wear your feet. Your feet will be fine. So I can do it all. I know how to abase and abound. What did Paul say? I know how to be all right when I have it and when I don't. So I'm not better than anybody, but I want to be the type of wife for my husband that I'm so beneficial to him that people are talking about, oh my God, who is that he brought home? He used to bring home some booger bears, but this one right here, we like her. Yeah, she is doing all the things for my brother or for my son. You know, wow, so many things are so much better in his life since she came along. People are going to talk, give them something to talk about, but not the bad stuff. I want to be a wife that is a skillful communicator to everyone with whom I speak. I want to be able to talk to my husband with good sense. Don't come out your face crazy talking to your man like he ain't nobody. Don't do that. That is unkind. And then with so many of us out here desiring marriage and you got a man, don't do that, because it's a whole lot of people that will take your man off your hands. Not me though. I want my own husband. I'm good. I don't want nobody else's problems. But what I'm saying is, if the Lord has blessed you to have a spouse, then treat them right. I want to be an excellent manager of all the things home. I love my house. I love my home. It's not just about me. It's about the people who live here. I want to be above all allegations of wrongdoing. And my children, mine, his, and ours, I want them to rise up and call me blessed. I do. I want them to say, Mom, it was because of you. I think Alana had said something to me today or yesterday. She's like, Mom, I'm not going to lie. Before, I didn't know how to do so and so and so, but then you showed me how to do it. And I'm glad you showed. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to give you your flowers at some point, but make sure that they do give them to you, that you've invested enough in them, that you've taught them things that they can then take outside of your home and put into their houses. If my children's houses are not clean, that is not because they weren't raised in a clean environment. That's because they chose. They chose. My oldest daughter, absolutely a slob. Absolutely a slob. From probably about the time that she was 8. Oh, she was a slob before then, but Oh man, it would just bother my spirit. Not because she didn't grow up in cleanliness, she did, but it was rebellion against mom and all this cleaning we had to do on Saturdays. But not very long ago, because she's getting ready to get married, she was decorating the house, and we over here going, "What is going on?" She remembered all those lessons. She's like, "Mom, I'm being a wife. Look at this, Mom. Great. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you." She knows how to do the things. If you choose not to do it, that's on you. It's never coming back on me that I didn't teach you. I'm teaching you. So however you decide to do it is going to be on you. A wife is so much more than a warm body or a baby carrier. Okay. Remember that. You're more than just somebody to lay up with or somebody to produce offspring. That's all good. It's all in the Bible. Be fruitful and multiply, all that. But you're more than that. A wife is so much more than her pretty fried chicken. Yes, y'all never believe this, but I have been described by my fried chicken. Oh, she just fries such a pretty, a browner chicken. My grandmother said those words because I did fry pretty brown chicken. I don't fry chicken anymore, but I have fried it. And sometimes all we are is what we do, but I'm so much more than that. A wife is so much more than to the husband she makes lifelong covenant with. Who does that man say you are? If you were to ask him, who am I to you? He should be able to say exactly what it is. And I know it can be hard to see more than. However, you have to be it and do it. You got to be it and do it. And maybe you don't get the recognition from the people you want it from, but there are other people watching you. I promise you somebody is. My true desire is to join my life with a man God has preordained for me to create. Here's what it is. Now listen, lean in. This is why I want to be married. To create and leave a lasting legacy much different than the one that was left for me. My mom was never married. My mom had lots of boyfriends. My mom would go to the penitentiary to see her boyfriend. My mom had this boyfriend and that boyfriend. I mean, it was just too much. She never left me any money. All the money she had went to pay for her funeral when she passed. She didn't go to college. She graduated high school. And that's no shame on her. It's just where she was. But I want to leave a legacy far beyond what was left for me. One of the families that I look at and I just really, really absolutely love are Dr. Tony Evans and the late Dr. Lois Evans's family. Priscilla Shire, Crystal Evans Hurst, Jonathan, and Anthony Evans Jr. Everywhere you go, all of his children are in the ministry some type of a way. Everywhere you go, when you read their posts, they're always celebrating their parents, their mom and their dad for all the things that they've done in their life. They want to be with their family. They love spending family time. All their families go to camp together every year. They all vacation together. They have the big family dinners, all that. And I want to be that type of a legacy for my family. What am I leaving for my children? I want to leave a strong spiritual legacy, a godly legacy. Mom was about this. My kids will tell you, Mom, nobody knows you. Nobody knows the Lord more than you, Mom. That's just what they tell me. And I know that's not true. But to them, this is what they get to see. I want to see my life coupled with someone so that they can have a father figure in the home and see what that is like, a godly father figure. My children have a dad? Yes, they do. But I want them to see what a godly partnership looks like. I want my children to work in the ministry with me in whatever fashion that God has them in there. My son right now at the church we go to, he works in sound. He's been working in sound for a couple of years now, probably 2 or 3 years. But he knows, how to do the words and the scriptures, and he does all that with Pastor, and he gets the videos and shows all the pictures he wants shown and all that, and he's learning that. And sister, in her own right, she would probably end up being my armor bearer, and she knows how to do other things. She has a very beautiful dance ministry all the time. Whatever God wants them to do, I want them to be a part of that. But it is not about me. It's about the legacy. My desire is to add to or be an asset, not take away from a man or be his liability, to grow old with, to enjoy my golden years with, and to be a role model of a woman, a wife, and mother to my girls and all the little girls in the world who never have witnessed it. A lot of times I'll go to work and people will say, gosh, Miss Wilson, you're dressed up. Oh my God, why are you so nicely dressed? Because we can wear jeans to work. I choose to dress up pretty much because it's what I know and it's what I like. But I always realize that some of my little girls at school have never seen what an elegant woman looks like. Never. They've never seen a woman dress nice, or their dress nice to show half the skin they got, right? They've never seen a woman wear short hair and look nice. Or, I had one little fella tell me I smell good. I had to make him get away from me. Get over there. Just go over there. But they've never smelled a woman that smells nice, or whatever the case is. And the reason is because they may not have had that at home. I don't know which of these children live with their parents, or maybe they're with their grandparents or aunties and uncles or great grandmamas. Some of those kids are in foster care. Somebody has to decide it's my responsibility to share what I've learned over the years with this next generation coming up. And here, guess what the thing is? They're not my children, but they're somebody's children. They're God's children, and they're worth being shown. So I do my part. I dress nice. I speak nicely when I'm in the hall. They'll say, good morning, Miss Wilson, or I'll say good morning to them. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Hey, how's everybody doing? And some kids never speak. And then I'm so bad about it. I'll do it all the time. They were like, hey, Miss Wilson. If they see me in the Walmart, hey, Miss Wilson, oh, Mom, that's my teacher. They'd be so excited to see me. I'd be like, Lord Jesus, I'll be trying to be on my own business in Walmart. But they'll see me and I'll speak, hey, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Because somebody is showing them a kindness. What are you showing? And if you're not the wife that you want to be, go back and look at Proverbs 31:10-31. You can be those things. Well, Shakeem, I can't be everything. Well, pick one. Just pick one. Listen, girl, pick one. I'm not saying do them all because I know it's a lot, but pick something to start with and then add to it. Here's the truth of my life. I was born for this. I was absolutely 100% born to be a wife. Absolutely. Yes, it is work. It is work, but it's not backbreaking work. It's not work that you hate doing every day. I love being a mom. I loved being a wife when I was married. I absolutely adored it. It's not work that we're going to do begrudgingly. We're going to do this with fidelity. I'm going to do this with love in my heart. I'm going to do this because it's going to benefit other people. It's a labor of love towards the ones we love. There is nothing that we need that I wouldn't do for the good of my family. I'm not going to jail for you, but I will definitely do all the things I need to do. Being a wife is a worthy cause that many should desire, not for what we gain from it, but for the benefits being provided to those around us. So as I do every night before I leave, I really wish I could get these comments to save. I never get the comments to save because I can't. I can't always go back and read them all. I'm sorry, y'all. I do my best. Do you know him? Do you know the Lord? You got to answer that question, yes or no. Some of you have decided yes, since you've been watching me for 41 nights. Some of you are still on the fence. That's okay. You get 40 more nights to decide. But if you don't know him, you can. It's not hard. Neither is it work. It's a simple introduction and agreement to fellowship. That's it. Hey, Jesus, how you doing? I'm good. How you doing? Let's be together. He wants to know you. He does. He really, really does. So I do want to thank you guys so much for stopping by. Listen, if you'll just like the video, do all the things, share, comment, subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't. Instagram, folks, if you go to the link in my bio, you will see our YouTube channel. Head over there for all the things we do, all the mom things, all the farm things, all the things that we do over here at our house. Tomorrow is day 40, which is we, us. I'm going to try to be on time tomorrow, but I have a work thing after. So if for some reason that I am a little bit late, I'm coming, but I should be on time tomorrow. But anywho, tomorrow's day 40, we, us. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me. Go back and read Proverbs 31, 10 through 31. It'll bless you. For all of us who are wives or we desire to be wives, I love you guys. We're going to see you all tomorrow night. Bye now. Bye, y'all. Have the best